everybody, welcome to my level up, level down guide for Final Fantasy Tactics. I'm just going to start off right away with a little kind of explanation here of what I've got my characters equipped with right now and why. I've got Orlando here at his base job, and he's equipped with the Chaos Blade and the Excalibur. Chaos Blade obviously adds regeneration, to him. And then the Excalibur adds haste. And then actually the Thief Hat here is really nice too. It just gives you +2 to your speed. And then I've got him equipped with the Battle Skill. So that's from the Knight, obviously. And then I actually only have Speed Break learned. Now, you don't need to just have Speed Break. I find that the ability there that Power Break, is pretty nice too. And it actually really kind of depends on your the enemies that you know you're going to go up against, but it can be decent to have the one that actually breaks the magic power as well. So I don't remember if that's break. I'm guessing it's break magic. But here, so I'm leveling up Meliadol as a ninja. Now I've got her equipped with the H bag. I like that because it gives +1 to speed. And then she actually only attacks once with it instead of, the normal ninja two-handed attack. And then the Thief Hat, obviously, +2 speed. Secret Clothes, +2 speed as well. And then the Setiumson adds the haste, which is why I like that. So, again, this is how I've got, or how I'm set up now. For most of my characters, I like to level up as the ninja. And that's because they get bonuses to speed as they level. So, what you can actually end up doing is, leveling up as a ninja, and then I usually level down as either a dancer or a bard, because they have the crappiest bonuses when they level down. So, it's an interesting process. It's just, if you don't fully understand it, just know that you want to level up as something like a ninja, if you want speed. Knights are actually good, as well as Dragoons if you want to level up your power stat or your physical attack stat. But as far as speed goes, Ninja is the way to go. And you can actually, you can look up the different leveling bonuses if you really want to. Generally, again, I'm just going to go with the Ninja. I mean, this whole leveling up, leveling down process is incredibly time consuming. And I don't feel like it's all that useful to overdo it. So by that I mean at level 99, I mean, to be completely honest, even if you leveled up as a bard, so like literally the worst stat gains, as long as you've got decent equipment, you're not going to have any problems beating the game, So, so that being said, do you really need to go overboard? No, I don't think so. And then, so what I've actually got, or the other things I have here for my setup is that Meliadol actually has the move gain experience ability from the calculator, as well as I believe it's EXP up. So 2 actually really good abilities from the calculator in order to level. Now, you could argue that the move EXP up is kind of lame. I mean, let's be honest, it kind of is. But for these initial early levels, it's kind of nice because you'll see there. So she got 2 experience for moving, and now she's gonna level because she's getting 99. Now, I actually have my EXP messages turned off. So if you find that odd, or you're wondering what's actually happening, well, again, that's why. That's an option that you can turn on and off. So. For this, I felt like, well, do I really need to know how much experience I'm gaining? No, and it actually cuts down on the time a little bit. But, so that being said, the move gain EXP isn't that great. It's okay for a little while until you get to the point where you're not gaining, like right now. So you'll see, so from hitting Orlando, she only got 96 experience, so I actually needed to move 2 tiles. Again, though, so the one thing you have to keep in mind with that move gain experience, you actually only gain 1 EXP per tile you move, unless you have the EXP doubler from the calculator, which is the passive ability, which doubles it. So You know, again, that's kind of an interesting way to go about it. Do you really need to do the moving? It'll get to a point here where I don't do it anymore because it takes so much. Yeah, and we're getting really close. This is probably the last level that I'll actually be able to use that. The reason being, it gets to be the point where you have to move, or you can't move far enough in one turn in order to make it worthwhile. And the other thing with this too is that actually moving takes away some of your CT, if I remember correctly. Oh, so now she's back down to C. Yeah, that's hard to really get down though. I'm not 100% sure if that's the case or not. But anyways, it gets to a certain point, and I just don't feel it's worthwhile to move around anymore. And so then I'll just keep hitting Orlando and hitting White. Yeah, so which is what I'm doing now. And then if you notice there that Minotaur moved to a spot. Now the spot directly behind Orlando is actually a sleep trap. And that's actually pretty nice too. So for one thing, in order to set this all up, basically I use Orlando because he's a complete beast. You noticed, you know, I had him with the double swords, and I usually have him equipped with that the entire game. And basically he just kills everything off, and you know, whoever I'm leveling doesn't really do much. But kind of sit around and wait for Orlando to get the battle under control. Once I'm down to like one enemy, I'll usually speed break it over and over. And the good thing with Orlando and having that dual sword ability is that you actually get 2 shots at speed break. So normally if you only have one weapon equipped, you use speed break once, and he'll slash once, and you know, he'll either be successful or he'll miss. Well, the great thing about having the dual swords is he gets 2 chances to do that. So, you know, it's just another way to really get control of the battle really well. And, you know, so obviously I've got this Minotaur down to 1 speed, so he barely ever gets turns. And then on top of that, I've actually positioned Orlando so what you want to do is you want to put your back to the trap, because the enemy is more likely to try to hit you at the trap. So there you can actually see me doing the speed break. It was already at 1 speed, so that wasn't really all that useful, but yeah. And then on top of that, what I actually like to do here is just because of the way my characters are set up here. Oh, look at this. So the enemy's actually not even going to get a turn anytime soon. And again, that's because its speed is so low. But what I actually do here is set up this way, and by doing this, the enemy, once it actually does wake up, won't actually walk over to hit your weaker character, which can be dangerous because, you know, with Orlando having the Holy Sword skills as well as the battle skill, there's no way for him to revive anybody in case they would happen to die. So yeah, so that's kind of how I like to set it all up. And so now actually what will end up happening is once this enemy does finally get a turn, it'll just hit or try to hit Orlando, and then it'll walk up towards that crystal over there. And then the next turn it tries to, you know, the next time it tries to attack me, it'll just walk back to this spot and fall asleep again. So it's kind of a cheap way to keep it under control. And that, I don't know, I kind of like it. This is the level that I typically do all of my leveling up and leveling down. Now, we'll get into the leveling down here in a little bit, but the important thing to know though about this whole process is you really want to have Orlando at level 99. Because if you don't, just hitting him isn't going to get your other character very much experience. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And then at a certain point, somewhere around the 80s, it'll start taking more than 2 hits to level, you know, your character. So at that point, you know, if you plan on you doing this process more, I would say you want to stop, you know, at that point where it's starting to take more than 2 hits to level, just because, you know, you're not going to get much more out of it. So that last, like, you know, 10, 15 levels or whatever it ends up being, you know, who cares? Just finish off the enemies and then go about your leveling down process. So that being said, what else did I want to mention? Okay, so why does this all work, and how does it, or why do I think it works so good? Well, by having haste on Orlando, obviously he's getting about the same amount of turns as Meliodas, and that's fine. That's not that important as long as she's not hitting him very hard. So the harder your characters hit, actually the worse off you are, because regeneration is only going to heal you for so much. Now, the amount that regeneration actually heals Orlando for is actually based on his base HP. So right now he's only at about 721 health, which isn't, I mean, that's not bad. It's not bad at all, actually. And obviously his regeneration is way outpacing Meliodas' damage. But you may find that that's not always the case. So, you know, you may have to get creative as far as, you know, maybe equipping your character with some weak weapons and whatnot, or even using the power break ability on your own character. So that's yet another reason to keep, you know, that power break on Orlando. You know, if you power break them so that they're basically, you know, slap fighting you, you know, I mean, that's kind of the way to go, you know, so then you don't have to worry about, or, you know, the regeneration isn't that big of a deal. But I guess I would say the only, or this is really great, and the leveling up process is fantastic for the female units. However, male units cannot get the haste ability without having, they can't have permanent haste on them without the Excalibur. And the Excalibur is unfortunately only equipable on some of the characters' base jobs, Ramza on his Squire, Orlando obviously as Holy Knight, and Beowulf on his Temple Knight, as well as the Knight, the basic Knight job. So that being said, it's much harder or slower to level up the male Knights, I would say. Now, that being said, though, what you can do instead, like I mentioned earlier, is actually use the power break ability on your own character with Orlando and not have Orlando equipped with an Excalibur. Reason for that, you don't want Orlando to have as many turns as your other character does. Because, you know, obviously then you're just going to be hitting weight a lot or more times than you really need to with Orlando. So, that's that, I guess. That's my 2 cents on that. Now, I think actually what I'll do here, being that we've done a ton of, excuse me, a ton of, you know, talking about leveling up. So I think I'll make a little cut here and do all of my level down stuff. So here, if you'll notice, I'm actually not able to just, you know, level in 2 hits anymore. So this is the point where I would say, if you're going to repeat this process, you might as well just stop here and, you know, finish off the battle and then start your level down process, because, you know, it's just going to take up a bit of extra time here. And that last, you know, 14 levels, is it really worth it? No, not really. You know, again, but that's if you're planning on, you know, doing this whole level up, level down process again. Actually, okay, so here I actually don't need to make a cut, apparently, as we are going to finish this battle and continue on. So as far as the level down process, okay, so there's different ways to go about it. And here, hopefully, I'll get this set up right. Obviously, I'm going to save my game because I don't want to have all that time that we just spent wasted. Alright, so as far as leveling down, I actually like to go with the Pisco Demon, or sorry, the Mind Flare ability, or method. I don't know how you want to say that, but what I've got here is a bunch of different Mind Flares. Now, you want your Mind Flares to have really good faith. The higher their faith, the more likely it is that they will land their level down ability. And here, like I said earlier, leveling down as a dancer or a bard is your way to go. Obviously, the female units can't be bards; they can only be dancers, and vice versa. You know, male units can only be bards. So, That's actually an advantage, I would say, for the male knights, because the bards, as they level down, lose less stats, if that makes sense. So here is how I'm going to set up. Now, actually, to be honest, you don't want really high speed on this character, so hopefully I do my equipment setup a little bit different. You want your dancer to be as slow as possible, just because you don't want their turn coming around as often. Yeah, so let's get rid of all the speed increasing stuff. Okay, so she's at 12 speed. That's actually still really high, and again, that's actually partially because I leveled up as a ninja. So she's actually going to have a little more, you know, base speed than you most likely would, or how you normally would. If you notice there too, I equipped her. I removed the experience up passive, and I equipped the monster skill, and that's absolutely necessary if you're going to use the mind flare method. So here, what I end up doing, obviously, I keep using Orlando. I think that you really want to have. Well, Orlando is kind of my, I don't know if you want to call it enforcer, but he's just he's a beast. So that's why I always use him. I use him for these kind of, you know, missions, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. But so here, I'm going back to the Zekless Desert. Now, I want to mention one thing, though. So this isn't the only method to level your characters down. You can actually there's a trap here on this level. And I'm not sure if I actually am going to show you or not. It's actually pretty easy to find, though. It's in this little riverbed, if you notice where that Minotaur is at, but over here on our side. So, yeah, I'm not sure if I'll actually show you where it is or not. I guess we'll see how it all pans out. But, so that being said, I actually don't like it. I actually don't like using that trap because you have to move your character onto it. Now, I haven't actually tried this method by myself, but my impression is that if you have the teleport ability, and I believe that's learned from the Time Mage, you can try to move really, really far away from that spot, and your teleport will fail, and it'll actually trigger the trap. So when you initially step onto the trap triggers, and then, you know, it's called the Degenerator Trap. And it actually just takes one level away from you. And so, you know, that's one way to go about it. I'm using this method, though, if you notice. This is called Mind Blast. And the Mind Flare enemy will not have it unless you have the monster skill ability equipped on someone. And keep in mind, though, the person that has the monster skill has to be standing adjacent to them. So this is the perfect setup. I just have Meliadul in between the 3 mind flares, and they just go to town leveling her, or de-leveling her, I should say. So, again, this is how I've decided to go about it. The other way, you know, with the Degenerator Trap, you know, if that's the way you prefer, or if you find that it works better or whatever, go ahead and do it that way. Now, the mind flares, you'll have to try to find those too. If you wanna use my method, you actually have to find a battle where you can get, you know, either a mind flare itself or even the lower tier. I forget, you know, one of them is like the Pisco Demon or whatever it's called. And there's one more. I forget the base Squidlerkin or something like that. But anyway, so if you can recruit one of those into your party and then have them breed until you get mind flares, that's another way to do it. So, you know, there's obviously more than one way to skin a cat, but I think I actually found some mind flares in oh, I forget which map that was, but they actually do appear there, and fairly commonly. So I want to say like Fineth River or something like that. That might have been it. Don't quote me, though. I don't remember right off the top of my head, so sorry. I apologize. But all right, so we're doing getting the usual Orlando's doing work here, trying to get the battle under control. Essentially, I'm just killing off all the enemies other than obviously this Minotaur, and we'll get him under control here as well here in a minute. But probably just hit him with the. Oh, so here actually what I'm doing is I'm trying to entice him into following Orlando towards the sleep trap. And the idea there was to get him to... actually, so what I wanted to do was reduce his speed down to 1, the Minotaur, that is. And then I wanted to bring him over towards Orlando and away from my Mind Flares and Meliodor. Reason for that is I actually wanted to put Orlando to sleep and have the Bull Demon actually wake him up. And by doing it that way, obviously Orlando right now has haste, and I didn't want to just have to keep hitting wait and wait and wait. So I felt like this was kind of a good way to do it. The catch though is that you have to be able to get that that Bull Demon to follow Orlando. So you actually kind of have to stay close to him. So that he doesn't, run away and try to come after your Mind Flares, and because that can cause a bit of an issue. So here, it looks like I'm pretty successful in getting him away from, so he's gonna follow Orlando. And so here, what I'll do, we'll get the speed break going. There's -2, boom, -4. That's pretty good for 1 turn. Now, if you notice there, Orlando's getting extremely low. And I don't actually want to put him to sleep yet. So I'm going to do this. And hopefully we'll get a couple of turns with Orlando in order to get his HP back up with that regeneration. Oh, that works too. Oh, I could have just walked over to the crystal, I guess. I don't know why I didn't do that, but that would have got him back up to full health. And then I could, go back to taking down the speed on that Minotaur. So, anyways, like I said, so... It actually isn't looking like I'm going to use the Degenerator Trap, but if that's, something that you want to try out, I would definitely recommend it. You may find that you like that method better. And to be honest, this the Mind Flare strategy takes a little more time to set up. I mean, the good thing about that Degenerator Trap is you don't have to invite any monsters into your party. You don't have to try to breed them to get the right ones, so on and so forth. But I actually just really like this method because actually once you get it going, it's pretty fast. And you don't have to, move away from the trap and move back on it, or, level up a time mage so you can try to get teleports, so on and so forth. So that's kind of, again, that's kind of why I like this method and kind of how I go about it, I guess. But that is pretty much it. You'll see here in a minute, what I'll try to do is actually get that Minotaur speed down to 1, and then I'll actually just, I believe I put Orlando to sleep, which again, probably seems a little strange, but it gets to the point where you just don't need him, doing, oh, what? No. That's sad. All right, let's try this again. Speed break, come on, don't fail me now. Boom, boom, there we go. So there's another 4 speed. All right, so he's still at 3. So one more speed break will get him down to 1, and we will, be able to just put Orlando to sleep. And then the great thing is once that Minotaur does finally get a turn, well, he'll just run over and smack Orlando and wake him back up. So it's actually a pretty cool way, I think, anyway, of kind of like, I don't know, cutting the annoyance, I would say, out of this process. I really find that, hitting wait a billion times with Orlando is super annoying, so I tend to, want to go about doing things a little bit differently. All right, so his speed is completely down to 1, so I'm actually going to need to take a couple of turns here with Orlando to get his HP back up. Now, I could have used, his HP restoration sword ability. I forget if I think it's a Dusk Blade or Dawn Blade, something like that. But that very well may have killed that Minotaur straight up, so that probably wouldn't have been a good idea. Or Bull Demon, whatever that thing is. But anyways, this is pretty much it. So like I said, I'll end up putting Orlando to sleep here in a little bit. And, the Minotaur will just run over and smack him awake when the time comes. While that's all going down, obviously the Mind Flares are leveling or de-leveling Meliodor the whole time. And so basically this is it. This is the process. Level up I would say get Orlando to level 99 first. That's probably the first thing that you want to do. And now, obviously, as far as your equipment goes, it depends on where you're at in the story. I actually did all this after I had done, I think, the deep dungeon. And so, I mean, to be honest, that's pretty late in the game to do this whole process. You know, at that point, you've really done all of the, I would say, the hard battles. There we go. So there I'm putting Orlando to sleep. But, you know, completely up to you. I really like the, as far as the leveling process goes, I do like having, you know, thief hats are awesome. The H-bag is actually pretty good because it adds 1 to speed, along with the secret clothes. You know, those are great too. Not only do those secret clothes actually keep your weak character protected because they're invisible, they start the battle off invisible, but then on top of that, it gives them the +2 speed for when you actually do start the level up process. So, again, you know, there's many different ways to do this. Find whatever works best for you. I like this way. I felt like it worked really good for me, and so I stuck to it. So, anyways, I hope this guide was helpful. It ended up being way longer than I thought it was going to be, but hey, there was a lot to talk about. So, as always, I hope this guide was helpful, and hope you join me for more videos. Thanks for watching.